Gary, are you here?
I'm here. Can you hear me? Loud and clear.
Absolutely. Yes,
All
sir. Yes,
right.
sir.
Listen, I want to give everybody some background before we start. Number one, I want to say thank you. Yesterday, we announced for the first time at the Voice of the Kids website, voiceofthekids.org, that we are now taking donations for the radio station. So to keep Willie on the air. So please go to voiceofthekids.org. Give $1, give 10, give 100, whatever you have. We had people give donations yesterday. We really appreciate it. Voiceofthekids.org. Now today we want you to please call in at 212-219-9695. Please call in 212-219-9695. And we're talking now briefly. We're not going to be here as long as normal, Willie, today. We're talking here briefly about last night's presidential debate. And I want to give some background and I want to just open it up for discussion. But I want this conversation that we're going to enter in now to be positive. Okay. So we're not talking about negatives. We're not talking about putting people down. I want to talk about it from the perspective of children, because that's what Voice of the Kids is about, and Kana for Kids. Now, before I do that, I want to just share with everybody where we're at. So I'm going to share my screen because we're on Zoom right now, but I wanted to let you know that we are live on 7 different platforms right now, in addition to 30 million homes on 9:30 a.m. WPAT, right? We're on Facebook.com/Kana for Kids, KHANNA, the number 4 kids. We're on YouTube.com, search for Kana for Kids. We're on YouTube.com, search for Voice of the Kids. We're on Facebook.com, also Voice of the Kids. We're on Twitter/Voice of the Kids. We're on Twitter.com/Kana for Kids, FOR Kids. We're on my Facebook page, Gary.Scarano, and soon we're going to be on our LinkedIn page. So in addition to where we're at now, we want to start working with you, Willie, and get on your pages. We've already agreed that we're going to be sharing your page also. So we're really excited about everywhere we're at. So please go to any one of those websites, and we're going to talk about some positive things about the debate last night. So listen, let me start. Everybody has an opinion. Kids, teens, you're going to have an opinion. Opinions start at a very, very early age. But you know what? The second you have an opinion, you're going to be meeting with and interfacing with and rubbing elbows with other people who may have the exact same opinion of you as you. However, you may also be bumping into people that do not have the same opinion as you do. So we have to see what we can do in terms of helping each other understand how to be productive in terms of debating. And what is debating? Let's be clear. Debating is simply giving your point of view to somebody else. That's all it is. So as you grow up, you're going to meet people who don't agree with you. Well, it is helpful to get to the point where you can demonstrate your point of view to other people. Last night there was a debate between President Trump and Joe Biden, and we want you to call in at 212-219-9695 to get your opinion. Many people are pointing out the negatives regarding the debate. They said this, someone said this. When Dr. Khanna's not doing that, he's not going to be here today. I'm kind of doing this speech for him. But we're encouraging the country to concentrate on positive things we learned about each candidate. So let's list some of those positive things. What did we learn? Well, I think we learned that both candidates really desire to serve this country. Both candidates said clearly they want to improve the economy. And they said they want to protect our people, including children. And since we're Voice of the Kids, we're very interested in helping children and their voices. So we should look forward to, regardless who's president, that they're going to take care of this country in a way. And I want to just mention to the kids out there, this is an education, a learning opportunity for you to join in, to learn how to debate and give your point of view. Willie, how would you teach your children that?
Well, I would probably just, children these days growing up, they understand to a level that's much higher than we give them credit for, I believe. I believe, that they can actually make decisions based on the information that they get. And I just like to say my kids, I thank God for them, but they are at the age where they somewhat make their own decisions, and that's a good thing. And kind of like putting it with the debate last night, as I said earlier, that it's kind of hard to make a point or get a good understanding when everybody is talking over each other. Just you really can't understand either person if they both are talking over each other. So I think there has to be a rule where, if the other person is speaking, the other person must stop until that person is finished or getting ready to run out of time or something. So that's my take on it.
Thank you for that. I want to announce that Clem has joined us. Dr. Khan is not able to join us today. Clem, I just want to ask, did you listen to the introduction here? Because we kind of just started, and it's a short day today.
Yeah, I just heard a little bit, the last sentences from Willie.
Yeah. So what we're trying to do, Clem, is present the positives from last night as much as possible as a learning opportunity for kids, because we're voice of the kids and we want to help kids that they can learn from the debate in terms of how to defend their point of view to others, how to present it in a positive way. And as Ruth Bader Ginsburg has said, we should always fight for our point of view, but do it in terms of winning other people to your side. In other words, convince people of what you believe, but make friends in the process, not to make enemies. So that's what we're trying to accomplish today, to just let kids know, hey, we can learn from what happened, and we have to practice. Kids, it does take practice to be able to defend our point of view or even describe our point of view. I've been in situations where I thought I had an opinion on something. I never researched it. And then I would bump into someone that knew a lot more than me. It embarrassed me. And it sometimes it changed my mind. Sometimes it required me to go back and do some research. These are all things that kids should be doing. So what we said last time is, don't take the opinion of the media. Don't take the opinion of your teachers. Take the opinion of yourself. Do the research. Do a little bit of soul searching so that you, as a child, as a kid, as a teen, develop your own opinions. And once you develop those opinions, develop the skills to defend them. So with that as the background, Clem, I just wanted to ask your opinion on that.
Yeah, well, I mean, as well said. But one of the things that kids do is that they learn how to debate in school. And part of it is to teach them this type of skills for when they have to run for office and they have to debate. There is a reason why there is a third party sitting there to regulate the flow of the debate. So that role is very critical for a meaningful and a successful debate. But more importantly, the debaters must also be willing to subject themselves to this third party to regulate this whole process. If they don't subject themselves to that, then maybe they shouldn't be at the debate to start with. Okay, so right now in schools they've been learning the process of debate. I think schools should continue to reinforce the need to for people to obey the rules of debate. Normally, these rules are, predetermined and discussed at the beginning of the debate. So the debaters are aware of it. You see, and the tragedy last night was they ignored those rules. And that's a tragedy, particularly when it's a debate that involves the highest office in the country. Because then when you ignore rules, then how do we, the good point is the children are learning that you shouldn't ignore rules, whether it's a ball game, whether it's a taking exams, don't copy from each other, whether it's, there's a reason for rules. There's a reason for rules. Yes, last night was really not the best display of acceptance of rules. That's my take on last night.
Yeah, but in terms of learning for kids, how would you structure? What advice would you give kids in terms of how in the lunchroom, if they have a different opinion of their sports team or a different opinion of the economy or whatever, what positive things could we say to kids so they could develop their own opinions?
Well, one thing I know for certain, and that is even where we come to, let's say, science is supposed to be exact, but from time to time, they change the findings.
We have a commercial. Go ahead.
Yeah, something happens and they change it, and they say, well, the new discovery. So there is no opinion which is cast in stone. So children should learn to recognize that the basis for their opinion is they read it from somewhere, or somebody told them, or something. That may not be the gospel truth. All right. So they always have to be prepared to listen to the other party, because the other party may give them additional information which may change the basis of their own opinions.
So I think I hear what you're saying. And I think one mistake that people make, and kids don't fall into this trap, that when you're listening to someone, don't think about the next thing you're going to be saying. And Clem, you're clicking a lot just so
Okay.
When you're listening to somebody else and they're giving their point of view, it's important that you don't concentrate on what you're going to say next, because you're not really listening. You're not listening at all to them. So, and then you miss their point of view. So you have to be what's called actively listening to that person, so that when you come back with your point of view, it's intelligent. It makes sense. It makes sense in terms of what they said. It doesn't ignore what they say. So that's just one tip for kids. Listen actively, intently to what the other person is saying. That's number one. Another thing that kids should be doing is think about what you're going to say before you say things. A lot of people, they open their mouth and then they think. That's the wrong order of things. You don't start talking before you start thinking. And it sounds funny, but actually it happens a lot. Think about what you're going to say, and then form it in your mind, and then respond. People will respect you more in that process, and they will value your opinions more than just, for lack of a better term, shooting off your mouth, kids. So we just don't want to be shooting off our mouth. We want to make, as Justice Ginsburg said, who passed away last week, we want to make friends in the process of convincing them our point of view. Or you don't have to convince them, at least explaining a point of view. Listen, I've talked to many people, I'm sure you have, Clem, that don't agree with you, but at the end of the day, they're still your friends.
Oh, yes. That's correct. Arguments should not be a reason to lose friends.
Absolutely.
You should always agree to disagree, and
Yeah.
then come back and look at new things. And again, tomorrow is another day. In this situation, I just want people to be prepared for when it is critical for them in their career, in doing anything, that you have to be ready to receive a negative from somebody. You have to be
Absolutely.
ready to receive a negative. And Gary, I think that's what you were saying.
Yeah, yeah.
If you pay attention to listening and hearing what that party is saying, then then only then can you formulate some kind of meaningful response. But
Absolutely.
yes.
Absolutely. Willie, are you there? Are you listening?
Yes, I am. I'm here.
All right.
Um, I'm following him exactly. As you said, you when you got to know what you're talking about, and once you know what you're talking about, then you still got to show courtesy. Just because you know what you're talking about doesn't mean that you can be rude. That means you can cut off other people, and that's a bad example for our kids. Again, as I said earlier, that when you're on the world stage, you have to put your best suit on, and that doesn't necessarily mean clothes. That means your the way you act, your mannerisms, your
Your
the way you
demeanor.
approach. Yes, absolutely. Because not only is you ever had the situation where the mother's not looking and one kid hit the kid and said, "Mommy, he hit me." No, I didn't. No, I didn't. And she looks back. She didn't see you hit him, but she that we can't have that on the world stage. We can't. It was like he was. They were tit for tat each other. I didn't get anything out of that. I'm trying to say, okay, so what are we doing in terms of hospitalization or health care? What are we doing right now with the our air quality, what the global warming or whatever? What are we doing with these things? I would have liked to have heard each one of their views on this is what I'm thinking, this is the direction I would take the country in because of this, that, and the other. But I didn't hear that. What I heard is you did this, you didn't do that. Oh, yes, you did. And a lot of bickering from
And
our
that's
world.
exactly what we don't want kids to do. We don't want kids to learn that, Willie. That's so bickering is not what we want. Couple of things quickly. Please call in 212-219-9695. Follow us on our 7 networks, but the main one we use is facebook.com/Kana for kids, KHANNA, the number 4 kids. And please, we're trying to keep Willie on the air. We love to see his beautiful face. He's watching. He is checking his emails every now and then.
Yes, yes, yes.
He ignored us for months, but we whipped him into shape. So keep him on the air. Go to voiceofthekids.org, please, and you're going to see two buttons there. Donate. We don't care how small it is. We appreciate anything. And yesterday we want to thank people who did donate. It makes a big difference. So let me review the 4 things we mentioned that children and teens should be doing when they're expressing their opinions. You could call it a debate, but just when you're expressing your opinions to others. Number 1, listen to the other person, okay? Don't think about what you're going to say, because when you're thinking about what you're going to say, you're not listening, okay? Number 2, make sure you're making friends with the person. Okay. In other words, as you're describing yourself and your point of view, make friends with that person. Don't argue to make an enemy. You argue to make a friend, because if you argue to make an enemy, you're never going to win someone over to your point of view. So you want to convince them of your point of view, at least so they understand it, so they'll be friends. Another thing is you have to agree with the other person that you at least understand what they're saying. It's very important. You may not agree with the point, but you have to at least say, yes, I understand what you mean right there. So you have to acknowledge the other person that you at least understand it. Then you can go on and say, well, let me explain where my point of view is, and not to get into an argument. So those are the things that that we that we want you kids to do, to think about. We want you. I think what Clem said is, if there's a debate organization in your school, we encourage you to take it. It'll learn how to help you. And I have a friend of mine. He's a very good friend of mine. He's a running buddy, and we don't really have the exact same point of view on politics, which is fine. But you know what he said to me recently that just meant a lot, Willie and Clem. He said to me, Gary, you're the only person I speak to that doesn't agree with me, that it doesn't end up into an argument, that we, at the end of the argument, we don't care, we're just still friends. I says, you know, it's not that important to me. Your friendship is more important to me than my point of view. And that's an important thing for kids to think about. The friendship of other people is more important than your point of view, because you're not going to win anybody over by pounding them over the head. That they're not going to be your friend. So go ahead, Clem. You want to jump in here?
Yeah, I mean, of course, we're on the air, and we always want people to call in and also voice their opinions. The the main thing also here is you were trying to know, identify the things we are taking away from here. What are those things? You said listen, and then you said formulate your ideas before you speak. What
Yeah.
is the third item?
Listen. It's called active listening. Make sure the other person. Um, the other thing is think before you open your mouth. A lot of times, arguments and people lose friendship because they open their mouth and they say from emotion what they believe. So think before you open your mouth. Make sure you're making friends in the process. When you're talking to somebody else, listen, you're my friend now. I want to make you my friend. You may not be my friend
Right.
now. I want you to be my friend. And also make sure that the fourth thing is you've got to make sure that you may not agree with what they're saying, but you have to at least say, "Oh, I understand, and I understand your point of view." So you're acknowledging, "Oh, okay," that you're listening to the other person, that you understand their point of view. So those are the four things I mentioned. If you want to add a fifth one, go ahead, Clem. Again, 212-219-9695. Please go to voiceofthekids.org and give a donation. Willie and Clem, I think we're kind of coming to, we got just a few more minutes.
Yes.
We want to hear people's point of view, positive about what they learned last night. Listen, a lot of people were expecting a lot of negative things. Okay, some negative things happened, but some positive things happened. Both parties expressed an interest in helping the economy. I think that was clear. I mean, nobody wants to ruin the economy. Neither one of them. That's a good thing to know.
Well, I think they both got a heart to help America. They both have the heart to want to get in and fight for America's citizens. So I give that to both of them. You know, they both came across that they do have a heart that really want to see America to be better, or try and help make it better. So, you know, do they have what it takes to make things, you know, better? That's going to remain to be seen. You know, we got this big election that's coming up, and I think it's going to get a lot heated, more so than it is now. But I really believe that prevailing heads will prevail, and only because of the fact that, again, I think in certain cases we have to be diplomatic, and we have to we both can't talk at the same time. Only way for me to understand what you're trying to say if I listen and get that understanding. But if I'm trying to talk, give you my point of view, and you trying to give me your point of view, and we kind of like tit for tat, and we're pulling for brownie points from the audience or whatever. So I think that's where we have an issue, and our kids, and it's so great that you are talking about the kids because they're looking at this, they're viewing this, they're seeing the two most powerful men in our country, the heads, and they're acting like, I'm just going to say it, they're acting like kids, and this is not something we want to. This is not a good example for our kids.
I think one other thing I want to mention is, and I think it was implied by what I said, but I wasn't specific, so maybe we can add a fifth one. Make sure you're calm. When you lose your temper, you've lost the argument. I don't know if many people have heard that before, but basically, and that's happened to all of us. But when you lose your temper, you've kind of lost the argument, and sometimes you lose your friends. So make sure that you're calm in the process. And one last thing, I guess the sixth thing is, when it comes to an argument, what's kind of funny, this is kind of a thing that happens. Some people have to have the last word. I don't know why. It's kind of
my wife.
Yeah. Yes. Put her on the phone.
Yeah. The only thing I also wanted to add was this. When you are squabbling over issues, then everyone becomes incoherent. And when there is incoherence, then the main issues that needs to be debated are often ignored. You see, so even though you may be putting across a valid point, it may be, okay, your shoe is dirty. Okay, that's a valid point. But is that what we're talking about? Okay, so, or is that the most important thing that we need to talk about? The last night, like Willie, you were saying, some of the key things that we didn't hear anything about, that left us all empty. Okay, and as a lesson to the kids, you need to, when you are debating, don't be squabbling about little things about the person, about this, or I'm better, bigger than you. No, that's not the issue. The issue is, what is the subject matter that is important to us right now? Like Willie said, we want to know about environmental issues. We want to know about the economy issues. We want to know about healthcare issues. So that didn't come across, and we all should learn from that. So whenever we are in the position for a debate, we should look at what is the relevant issues for that evening? What is the relevant issues for that occasion? What should we talk about? That's a lesson that we should all be learning.
Well, thank you, Clem. Are you trying to get the last word there? Just joking. Listen, thank you. The 6 points were well said. We all need practice, not only kids, but we all need practice how to give our opinions. We're Voice of the Kids. We're trying to be positive in terms of what happened yesterday with the argument. I don't want to get into negatives, but we just want to thank everybody. We've been very excited to be here with Willie. Please join us at voiceofthekids.org and click on the donate button. Please call in any time and join us on any one of the 7 networks that we're broadcasting on online, in addition to here. And we want to hear from you. We do want to hear from you, voiceofthekids.org. If you have an issue, like Dr. Khanna is a child safety advocate. He is the champion of Voice of the Kids. He is a servant of the underserved, and he is, as our champion for Clem and myself. We're on the board, but he's not. He does want to help. He wants to deal with solutions. We're looking for real solutions. In other words, what can we demonstrate that we've accomplished other than just words? So if you have any ideas that you're working with an organization, or you're working with kids, or you have an idea that you want to be helping kids, and we try to concentrate on the underserved. Okay, as I mentioned before, that's what Dr. Connor tries to do. Get in touch with us either at voiceofthekids.org or connorforkids.com, either way, and express your ideas. We will, the three of us, Clem, myself, and Dr. Connor will entertain your ideas. We'll see how we can help you. We'll see how we can help the kids. We'll see how we can implement. Maybe it's a program. Maybe it's a pamphlet. Maybe it's a booklet. Maybe it's some. Maybe it's a.
We're going to be going right off the air in a few seconds, Gary. I'm so sorry.
Jurisdiction, and that's it. Thank you very much. God bless you all.
Okay. Keep it locked right here. Don't you dare touch that dial. Gary, I think you got a couple of calls coming in. I'll get them, but don't you dare touch that dial. We'll be right back after these messages. Yeah, you there, Gary?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, well, I missed a couple of calls. They were ringing, and I was going in because they're getting ready to take the commercial. So if they call back, if you want to hang around, you can. If not, just let me know. I'll put the call through on the air.
Clem, did you hear that? I'm not sure if you could.
You said what now?
Did you hear what he said?
Yes, I did.
All right, so we'll stay on. And we're going to stay on for a little while. If there's no phone calls, Clem and I will drop off. All right?
Okay. Cool. Okay, great.
Rats. It would have been nice to field some phone calls, but he missed them.
Okay. I mean, now that the schools are back, I don't know if they are still having the ability for the kids to, be learning how to debate. Maybe maybe something that we can look at and figure out a way to use something like Zoom or something to create a facility for debating, virtual debates.
Actually, that's a really good idea. Maybe we can find. I'm sure there's an expert out there who is a. Hold on, Clem. Just let me get going here. I'm sure there's an expert out there on debating that teaches a class. Maybe we can partner with them, and it would be great to do a Zoom class or a virtual class to kids on debating. That's a great idea, Clem.
Yeah,
we should think about ways of putting that together.
Yes, because
So,
now that everything is virtual, why not? Why not?
So when we go live, we'll make that announcement when we're back live. I think that's worthwhile.
Mm-hmm.
Well, while we're on hold, I know that we're live on the 7 channels. I'm just going to review the, I think we had 6 suggestions. If we get back on, I'll just stop. But 6 suggestions for having discussions with others. Number 1, listen to the other person. Don't think of what you're going to say next, because that's not active listening. So make sure you listen to the other person. Acknowledge the other person, that you understand, you hear their point of view, and you understand it. You don't have to agree with it, but you have to at least acknowledge it. It'll make them feel good. And along with those lines, when you're describing your point of view to others, try to do it in a way that you're going to make them your friend. So they may not be your friend before, but you're trying to point your point of view. Now they're going to be your friend afterwards.
Right.
Make sure you think before you open your mouth. There's an old joke. It says, engage brain before opening mouth. So you should make sure that you do that. And also keep calm. There's something called de-escalating or not escalating. When discussions get escalated, they stop being discussions and they start being arguments.
Right.
And then the emotions come up. So, yeah, Willie, we're ready anytime you are. So we got to make sure that your kids, you don't do that. Don't get heated. Don't get argumentative. And we're going to be talking about an idea that Clem just came up with, and we want to present to the world. So, hey, Willie, let us know we're back on the air. We want to pitch something to you and to your churches. We can do it in a church, or we can do it in a school. So he's on. He's frozen. Hey, Willie, can you hear us? And also, last but not least, you don't have to have the last word. People think that having the last word means you win the argument. And people just, that's not true.
Yes.
People just try to argue or just refute another person's point of view just to say they got the last word. Someone's like, tag, you're it. Okay, I won. We got to remember we're dealing with people and we want to make them our friends. Again, Ruth Bader Ginsburg did say, I'm going to paraphrase, express your opinion strongly, but do it in a way that you make friends in the process, that you win others to your point of view.
Right.
So that's what we're trying to do. And we're waiting for Willie here. We haven't, I don't know if he's dropped off. Let me see what he's doing here. I think we're still on the air. Let's see.
Ready from somewhere, or somebody told them, or something. That may not be the gospel truth. All right. So they always have to be prepared to listen to the.
I guess they're replaying what you said, Clem. That's what's live now, what you're saying.
Okay. All right, so let's take us off of Facebook. I mean, if we have to field any question, let's stay on for 5 minutes.
All right, let me just close. We have an idea. For some reason, we're not on live, so on the, as far as we can tell, the radio station. But Clem had an idea. I love the idea. If you have a school, a church, or a group of kids, we want to find someone who's taught debating skills, preferably to kids. We want to partner with that person and help them get together with us. We want to introduce debating skills to kids remotely with Zoom. We have the technology already to do that. And we want to connect these kids So this is a real solution, a simple solution. It's not an expensive solution. Please contact us at voiceofthekids.org. While you're there, you might as well hit the donate button. And I'm gonna get off live right now, and we'll stay here with on the screen. Just give me a second.